No cap, 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 cap. Like this though.
You know what? One of the most difficult and complex things in the world is,
What's that?
and most overlooked or misunderstood or misused, but also just the most complex because it's talked about, but not really. Most people ain't in the best practice of it,
What's that?
and they misuse it. Is health.
Hmm.
Health itself is very complex. People talk about it, but most people are in the practice of self-sabotaging their health.
Hmm.
I was. You remember Earl Hayes?
Mm-hmm.
I was in Vegas
Rest
years
in
and
peace, Earl.
RP.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Vegas years and years and years ago, bumping to Earl Hayes. He was signed to Money Mayweather at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So Pete come through. So I'm going to these parties. It was like a whole week. I was out there for a whole week. When I left and come back from Vegas, Earl was like, "You leaving?" He like, "Why would you leave?" But I was 19 or 19, 20. I'm like, "Yeah." But anyway, so I'm going to these parties. It's me, Earl Hayes, Floyd Mayweather, and all Floyd Mayweather people. And I remember seeing this documentary. I'm skipping ahead, but years later, and I seen them kicking it, how Floyd Mayweather kick it, and I seen him telling somebody some of the stuff that he was telling me with the story that I'm about to tell. He was telling the actor from ATL, Jackie, whatever his name is. I was like, damn, that's some of the shit he told me. But anyway, we go into these parties. And back then I used to smoke, not cigarettes. I used to smoke, not cigarettes. And I used to drink. And we had the first night that I met Floyd, he like, we go holler, we go chop it up. And we bounced it in a whole bunch of different cars. You know what I'm saying? SUVs. Boo, boo, boo. We all in different. I'm in the SUV with Earl Hayes and two other people, right? And then it's like 6 SUVs or 8 or whatever. And we going to heck of different parties the first night. But Floyd like, yeah, we go holler. Okay. So then we had a strip club. And Floyd, like, he come up to me, he's like, yeah, man, I told you he was gonna holler. So he pull up to me. Floyd, I know he get, and people ain't gonna understand when I say this. Floyd, one of the realest dudes I ever met. People think that because of some of the stuff that he's saying he do, I don't care about none of that. I he one of the realest dudes I've met. And he gave me some of the realest game I ever got in my life, and I put it in my book, and I put it into practice in my business. So we sitting there, and he was like, "P, you know what? You see all this alcohol and all these girls and all this partying. You see all this?" I'm like, yeah. I'm really just sitting there listening. He's like, I'm paying for all this alcohol, all this weed, everything. I'm paying for all this, all these girls, all this. He said, but all the weed and alcohol and all that stuff, he said, I don't put none of that in my body. I'm paying for all of it, Pete, but I don't put none of that in my body. He said, people mess up their own bodies by what they put in it, by what they do to it. People mess up their own bodies, their health, by what they put in it, by what they do to it. I don't do none of that. I'm not messing up my health. Floyd Mayweather. At the time, I got big, big drink on my table. I'm rolling big boops and booze, kicking it. It's booze everywhere. You know what I mean? We kicking it. He indulged in the women though. He didn't say nothing about that shit. But anyway, I never forgot the conversation, right? When people drop a jewel on me or a gem, I remember it for life.
Right.
And when he said it, I knew it was a gem. I knew it was game. Fast forward, I end up opening starting my fitness business. And I'm like, damn, this is what Floyd was talking about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was, right? Like 12 years ago. I'm looking, when people are asking me, how do they get in shape? How do they do this? How do they do that? I'm realizing when I'm coaching people and helping them, because that's all I'm doing is helping them, that they were self-sabotaging themselves because they was playing with their own health. I would say, well, if you really want to be serious about it, do this, this, and this, and don't do this, this, and this. Who does that? That's not living. Who doesn't? Who does? Who does? You don't drink. How can you live without drinking? Oh, you don't do this. And listen, you can smoke, drink, do whatever you want to. Like I said, I used to do it. So I don't care what nobody do. Do your thing. I'm not passing judgment on nobody. Do your thing. But people self-sabotage their health. And as we was talking about this, like the sexual side, that's health is the point I'm getting to. You were saying, like the pleasure, don't let a little bit of pleasure, you know what I'm saying, cost you something. People get so focused on the pleasure of sex that they forget about their health. People get so focused on partying that they forget about their health. And a lot of times, a lot of people are in the practice of self-sabotage when it comes to health. Health is a motherfucker. And if a person, they say health is wealth. If a person can really take control of their health, physically, mentally, spiritually,
mm-hmm.
and financially, then that individual is healthy.